So I'm going to go ahead and accept the phone call from the Bitcoin IRA folks. I've got a series of questions that I've compiled that I hope answers a majority of what you might ask. However, at the end of that, if you do have a question for these people, this is the time to do it. Just raise your hand and we'll shoot the question out to them, okay?
And we also have
Hey guys, are you there?
Hi everybody.
Yeah.
Group. That's the first group. That's awesome.
How are you?
I'm doing really well. How about yourselves?
We're doing pretty good. We can't visually see you, but we can just see your picture. There you go. There they are.
outstanding.
Hey,
right. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So, I mean, first off, if you guys could just give us who you guys are individually and where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming to you live from Sherman Oaks, California, just outside of Los Angeles, about 20 miles from the downtown Los Angeles area. We are Bitcoin IRA, so I'm the Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of this company. We launched in 2016 with our first ever digital currency IRA. With the former director of the United States Mint, Ed Moy, as our first client. I'm joined today with Diego. He's one of our top Bitcoin IRA specialists. He also has an experience, MBA from Pepperdine, and has run hedge funds for our firm in the past. And Scott, one of our other esteemed sales specialists and specialist that works with clients for the last 6 months here at Bitcoin IRA.
Well, very nice to meet you guys.
Oh, that's Starkey.
Awesome.
I got one more, sorry. Forgot one more. I got John. John is our sales manager here at Bitcoin IRA, so anybody you talk to, he's their boss, and call him Hulk.
All right, very cool. All right, well, we're going to scan the room, just show you we got a full room of people here.
Great. Oh, great. How's everybody feeling with today's bloodbath?
We're all a little nervous, but
Take it in
we're
stride.
okay. Okay.
It's a roller coaster ride. My stomach hurt the first few times I had pullbacks. We've been trading Bitcoin actively for clients since Bitcoin was at 200. We launched Ethereum when it was at 40. We launched Litecoin when it was just about $25, $30, and Ripple when it was just a mere 19 cents was our first trade. So we've seen the ebbs and flows of this marketplace and have some familiarity with days like this.
Very cool. So those are the four that folks can choose from then when they want a Bitcoin IRA with you?
They actually have two other choices. We have Bitcoin Cash. We were one of the first exchanges to offer that support after the fork on August 1st. And we have Ethereum Classic, which is still, even though it's not as regularly used as Ethereum as we know it today, it's still very popular. We'll see what happens if there is another fork in Ethereum. I'm not sure if 3 coins can survive in one ecosystem. That'll be a new experience for all of us in the crypto space.
Very cool. What is the minimum cost required, we were wondering?
Yeah, so our minimum investment size is at $20,000, and then it's $20,000 for every additional crypto that you'd like to do. We work with OTC trading partners, so instead of moving funds, as maybe most of you use Coinbase, Kraken, GDAX, or any of the other groups, we will put your funds, will be a Kingdom Trust and FDIC insured and safe bank account for your IRA. And then those trades are only executed in a liquidity sense, so your monies are never put into a hot exchange or a hot wallet setting. Your US dollars move to the exchange facility, FDIC insured as a bank wire, and the coins move directly into your cold storage BitGo wallets that are constructed for your IRA. So if you ever look back at the history of time of the parity hacks or the things that have taken place, a large amount of them take place at that exchange level, like Bitfinex hack in July of 2016. And we tried, when we we constructed this model, our biggest goal was to keep your monies and your coin outside of those risky situations.
So when you say $20,000 to invest in one coin, I'm not clear on that. So that would be like if I dropped $20,000, that would be just in Bitcoin, for instance, or?
Yes, exactly. And then any additional coins you want to add would be another additional $20,000 minimum.
So you can't move your money back and forth from different cryptos. You got to stay with that one.
Once you enter in, obviously that can change. There's clients that will put $20,000 in Bitcoin and have seen it grow to $60,000. So they've sold off the portion that they've made as far as house gains, was the house money, and they put that into different alternative coins. And that's kind of what you're not married into that relationship forever. It's a self-directed IRA, so you can buy and sell at your leisure. We've just updated our trading protocols. We still do voice recorded trade lines for additional security. When you execute a trade, you'll be on with a live trader, plugging those trades real time into the trade block program. Then you'll be sent e-sign documents that correspond with those trades real time, and you'll be verified your identity by the custodian. So all those steps go through for every time you do a trade. So you have to dedicate about 10 to 12 minutes of your time rather than a click of a mouse. And why we do that is so that we can move the funds in a secure fashion. We bring back a little bit of that human element into it. But you're able to buy and sell at any time at your discretion.
Interesting. So what's the process of rolling over your conventional IRA into a Bitcoin IRA? How does that work?
Well, first you want to figure out if you're eligible. If you have an IRA, whether it's Roth, traditional, SEP, or simple, you're certainly going to be eligible to move it over. You set it up separately. You can do what's known as an IRA to IRA transfer. So we open up an account at Kingdom Trust Company. That was the world's first self-directed IRA company that was willing to work with us. I went back and forth with them for almost 18 months in the development of this, and I remember the first meeting when they thought I was crazy talking about Bitcoin. This was back in 2015. Now they can't get enough of it, and other custodians are jumping on board to try to catch up to them. It's a process for them to get to the security level that they're at. And once your account's open, then it can be funded by a transfer. Now, if you have, say, a 401k or a 403b, 457, one of those types that you're thinking, maybe an old pension, you're going to want to ensure that you're eligible by either determining have you reached age or have you left the employer that was contributing. So if you're over 59 and a half, you're at age eligibility. If you are under 59 and a half, but you've left that company, then you now have the eligibility to roll those funds over. Once they're rolled over, then it's at your discretion of when you want to enter the market space. You just schedule time with a trader when you buy or sell or get active in the market space. But it's a self-directed group.
Interesting. So how does your back office work?
Our back office, they basically are your turnkey solution of kind of a concierge to this. So instead of just saying, hey, here's the company you go to, we'll call us when you have an account that's funded, we're going to walk through those steps with you. So we'll send out, you can either go to our website and start a process right away, known as our self-serve program. You click and get started. You can start filling out the details that directly APIs to the custodian so that your application is instantly accepted. And then our team will get you the transfer documents you need, and you can download them there. Or you can reach out and work with somebody like Diego or Scott. They're going to connect you with our operations specialists and help make sure that your transfer documents are in good order. If you need to do a rollover request, walk you through that and get on the phone with Fidelity or otherwise. And then once funds arrive and you've executed trades, our concierge team is there as customer care. So if you ever need liquidations, purchases, or just overall need to log into your account, forgot your password, any of those things, you would reach out to them. And then Diego and the others, they spend a lot of their time studying this market space. It's very volatile. There's a lot of things. I mean, when somebody calls you, how do you explain why Ripple went to $3 over Christmas and now it's back sub $1 today? And what that means about this marketplace. And that's where you have this educational tool of our team, as well as our website that's just full of amazing, fresh, innovative content. We are now members of the Forbes Tech Council, so we get a piece published every month, or sometimes twice a month on Forbes, about thinking about this market space. We understand it's fresh for most buyers, whether you're a veteran that's been buying since '09 or you're just getting in. Education is key in this market space.
So I think you kind of answered this for us a little earlier, but you can't then move from crypto to crypto seamlessly. You actually have to, contact you guys or
Yeah, settle the US dollar. That's absolutely true. So the instant swaps is not something that's completely developed yet. We're working, smart contract technology is going to allow us to do that, which is kind of cool. We're not just providers of this product, but we're actually implementing the technology underneath it. But right now, it's T+1 settlements. So if you call today and sold your Bitcoin, then by tomorrow, your coin will have settled and your monies will be back in your IRA so that you can buy your Ethereum. Eventually, we're going to get it to where you can say, sell 10 Bitcoin and buy me 500 Ethereum. That takes a little bit with the OTC to get all the parties aligned with a smart contract. But we're almost there, and we're already down to 1 day, which isn't too bad.
That is awesome. I guess another question that folks had, and I don't know if this even relates to an IRA, but we know that moving one crypto to another crypto, say go from Bitcoin to Ripple, for instance, creates a taxable event. does any of that play into a 401k, I mean, a Bitcoin IRA, the way you're doing it?
That's one of the most, I think, the perks of the program is that you can use this volatility and this opportunity of cryptocurrencies and not have the capital gains implication. When you're sitting inside of an IRA, whether it's Roth, pre-tax, or post-tax settings, you are in a tax-deferred environment. So you're under this umbrella of protection against those gains implications. So you could buy $100,000 of Bitcoin, sell it for $1 million. You would have no tax capital gains implications. You instead would have, at some point down the road, if you were in a traditional setting, a tax on distribution. So at that point in time, when you finally take that money out, and it goes from being IRA income to ordinary income, you'd have a tax to pay. I actually spoke at an event in March of last year in Puerto Rico. I explained this to somebody comparing two guys named Billy and Steve. Billy went to a local Coinbase and just set up an account with $5,500. And Steve went over to and set up a Roth IRA with the same $5,500. Now I gave them both hindsight. So from 2009 to, it was at the time, 2015, I had them do 5 of the exact same 5 times purchases, liquidations. So they made the perfect choices as far as buying at peaks, selling at lows during that time period. The difference was $15 million of their final growth. So they each made a lot of money off that $5,500. But the individual that was in the IRA, every time he sold off, he didn't have capital gains implications. That means that he didn't have to ante up to Uncle Sam in US dollars, and he could buy crypto the next time he entered the market. That's, I mean, $15 million is nothing to laugh at, especially on a $5,500 investment. So if you can use IRA settings, this is the tool that it's designed for, because you can have those big checks to Uncle Sam, which I know there's not one of us that likes those in this room.
No, we were just talking about that actually. We're talking about Puerto Rico because it has such the benefits of being there.
That's why I was there learning, and it's really cool if you are. I mean, you guys are down in Florida, so it's not far for you. If you can find residency in Puerto Rico, which means own a home, and then you have to be there 180 days out of the year. Now, on the 180 days, it can be the last minute of the day. So if you fly into Puerto Rico at 11:59. And you get stamped on your passport, or you get your landing ticket, you can prove that you were there for that whole day, even though you were there for 1 minute. And a lot of individuals, that's who I was meeting down there, was a lot of high net worth individuals that are saying, hey, I'd like to get a little safe haven from Uncle Sam. Now, will that continue is always the question. Regulation changes. We saw when the hurricane hit, there was a big battle between the federal government and the local municipality there. Maybe taxes may be in the future, they need aid ahead, we don't know. That'll be something that'll be decided.
Very, very interesting. So when you look at when a client's actually looking at the amount of money they made, how do you guys get your information as far as the current price of where they are? For instance, Ripple today is at, I don't know what it is right now, but let's just say it's at $1.05, and and then it goes up to $2.20 tomorrow. And I still see $1.05. How often is that updated that you could see how much?
Right now, it's a once a day update. You can always obviously go to any of the other sites. Our exchange rates are very similar to an aggregate of Coinbase, GDAX, Kraken, CoinMarketCap, I think Cointelegraph. They're just an aggregate of those. So there is some imperfection in the market. Our new tool for you to log in, see your holdings, which then couples with real-time 24/7, 365 trading that's coming around the corner. You'll be able to go and it'll be real time. So you'll see exactly, if I was to sell now, I would know the exact price if I bought it at this worth.
Very cool. Yeah, our last question was...
I love, by the way, I think there are more women in this room than I've ever seen at a Bitcoin meetup. This is awesome. That's one of the biggest issues is the gap between men and women in cryptocurrency. I just love to see it personally. I spoke at an event at Seaside Northridge, and there was all these young girls that were anxious about finance, anxious about crypto. It's really, I have a 4-year-old daughter. She turns 4 actually on Saturday. And I think about the income gap that's taken place over the 80s, 90s, and it's really trickled its way to the new millennia. Crypto is a great space. We have a lot more women that come to us. And what's funny is they'll go and do Bitcoin a year ago, and now their husbands or significant others are on the phone saying, hey, I want to do this now. And that's really reverse of a lot of other financial instruments we've seen in the past, whether it's real estate, LLCs, precious metals. Crypto is every man's and woman's world, and I just wanted to applaud you guys for that diversity.
Yeah, we do have a diverse group here in Southwest Florida. We have over 322 members now, so we get all age groups and all different types of people, and crypto just seems to bring everyone together and unify. So that's a really great thing to happen when we have a cryptocurrency group. Politics goes away, everything else goes away, and then we all get excited about cryptocurrency. So appreciate that.
Yeah, we keep religion and politics out the table. We can talk money, right? As long as it's crypto.
Exactly. We get excited about that. Is there anybody?
Not that filthy U.S. dollar.
You're right. Is there anybody in here that has a question for these folks about a Bitcoin IRA? Oh, hey Ken, what you got?
Hi, yeah, just real quick. I've been checking out this company called Tontine Trust. It's very incredible. It's like 300-year-old investment strategy. They started like back in the late 16th century. It's kind of like akin to an annuity, and so they're doing a blockchain. My question is, are you guys looking at doing anything with them, or going to invest in that, or what do y'all think on that?
So I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's wondering if you guys are going to work with, what company is it?
It's Tontine
Tontine Trust?
Yes.
That one's not what I've ran into. There are about a handful of new custodians that are entering the space, and they will grow up at some point. I'm sure of it. That's inevitable. We've been in this. We were first to the market. We're the world's first. We're the largest. We're kind of, I'd call us the 500-pound gorilla in the room. This is a huge market now, big opportunity. A lot of groups walk into it. We've even licensed out our program in a sense for retailers. There are some that have gone other routes. But you got to think about your key security here. A lot of them are using other wallets like Zappo, which is headquarters in Hong Kong, which makes me a little uneasy personally, and it only offers Bitcoin. The way that our keys are created is the Kingdom has one in a cold storage vault, BitGo has another one in a geographically undisclosed location vault, and then there's a third from Key Internal Recovery Services that kicks in the event that both those entities fall off the map. And this is a one-of-a-kind construction security. I would say that we hope other custodians can come up to par for the security of it. We put in optical eye scanners, offline laptops that have been designed to never touch the internet for key inception and encryption. Everything is in a cold storage vault. Only 2 human beings can actually have access to it, the CEO and the COO / president of that entity. And all those things they didn't have when I had 2 or 3 accounts. This is something that we had to grow and mature into as we continue to scale. We did a couple of accounts. It's kind of like that saying that the tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. We launched and nobody cared. Now, 2 years later, when the product's on fire, people are running into this. And if you're not well schooled for key security, you can really put yourself in a disadvantage. We all want to hold our own keys often. We're Bitcoin guys. It's kind of the ultimate. But when you're in an IRA, you have to give up that indicia of ownership so that you can get that tax setting. So just think about whatever the trust is, how much experience do they have, and do I feel comfortable with them holding my key?
Interesting. And for you, sir?
My name is Steve. How big is your research team? How often do you share information, and what information do you share?
You said, how big is your research team? What's your other question?
How often do you share it?
How often do you share it?
I guess do you share it?
And do you share it?
How big is in-house, we have 3 content directors that are working on fresh content always. Then we're also using and utilizing, leveraging other groups of fighters around the world actually that are contributing inputs and perspectives on digital currency from all parts of the world. So we've got contributors in Venezuela, those in East Asia. So it's very robust, but in-house we have 3 dedicated research individuals.
Very cool. And for you?
And myself, but I'm only part-time because I have a job.
What type of agreement is it actually that is set
But you know,
up?
one thing with research, I always put this out there is don't go down the rabbit hole, but don't also settle for a soundbite. A lot of people we find in this space, they'll listen to what JB Diamond says and they live by it. And then there's other people that will read every page, Webroot's 75-page release every week and go mad about the influxes and the technicalities. So don't overwhelm yourself. There is such a thing as analysis paralysis in every market.
Okay, I have a question in the back, and she wants to know what type of agreement.
It's written up for the custodian that is approving it. What is it? Is it a note? Is it secured? Is it unsecured? Is it, what is it that we're putting together in order for the IRA for it to move over into their account, is there an
Can you
agreement?
come up here right to them so I can get the microphone, so, because that's kind of a long question and I don't want to get it wrong.
Well, I think I can rephrase it.
Okay.
She's like, what qualifications and what kind of agreements are put together for the custodian over the accounts?
We're in California, so we gotta take a property.
Yeah, we still have a few more hours of trading left today.
Yeah.
All right, so just to repeat that question, she's asking what kind of agreement is put together with the client and the custodian, and what kind of verification process does the custodian go through?
How close to the mic is she? She's pretty muffled. We really want to know the question.
That's you. It's not actually an agreement with the custodian, because the custodian is the King's company that he's talking about. So my question is me as the IRA person, can you hear me?
No, he can't. He's far away.
That's right. Let's hear the question.
When they ask if I was single?
Can you hear me? He can't hear me.
Is it not muted?
Can we see that real quick? Can you hear us right now?
Yes, I can hear you, but when she was speaking, I couldn't hear her, unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Just hold it. No, no.
Can you hear me now? No?
You still can't hear her?
Doesn't like my voice.
No, I can hear you, but I can't hear her.
Just have her sit in your seat.
How's it going now?
Sit in your seat.
Still no.
It's your laptop, Mark.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're talking to the computer.
You need to turn this off.
No, just go right ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, my question is what is the agreement that goes into place? You're saying, who's the custodian that you recommend, King's Ford? Kingdom Trust.
Kingdom Trust Company.
Okay, so I'm the IRA holder and I come to Kingdom Trust and they set up the self-directed IRA that I've converted in or moved into their account, correct?
You would have an adoption agreement you would sign first that would have all of their terms and conditions of a standard IRA adoption agreement.
Okay, and then what is the agreement between myself through
Kingdom Trust.
Kingdom Trust with your company to then implement my IRA?
So exactly. We're just a conduit for you. So the agreement is in the IRA, and then you're going to be doing your trades as a self-directed user of that IRA. So there is an account agreement that we have you sign on your first trade. I can send that to you personally after this so that you can review it if you'd like to, and a copy of the application. I can distribute it to everybody. That way you can read the fine print before moving forward. All we are noted as is an authorized representative of your account. We can't do anything with that. Fine.
All right. And for you, sir.
Two-part question. What's your business's revenue model, and what's the fee structure for the management fees?
I'm gonna ask you to come up here. I just want you to answer talk right to these guys, okay?
Hang
You have a big microphone, like one of those boom mics.
Yeah, we do.
the question was, what's your revenue model as a business, and what's the fee structure for utilising your services?
Yes, absolutely. Great question. So nobody does anything in financial services without getting paid. How our process works is we have a one-time fee when you purchase. If you spend anything under $50,000, it is a one-time fee of 15%. From 50 to 100 is 12.5, and over 100 is 10%. That's one time on the initial purchase. If you ever liquidate, there's no liquidation fees, and when you repurchase, it's a 5% refi fee. That's our model. That's how we make our revenue. Kingdom Trust, your custodian, obviously has an annual fee of $20 per month and 7 bps per month of account. And that's disclosed in the fee structure, so you have it all laid out for you before you get it.
Very cool. Answer your question?
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Got way in the back there. The tax man. Come up here, tax man. Come all the way up here.
I'm not.
What'd you say?
Just as it's not a tax.
And real quick, anybody else that has questions, why don't we have you just come up to the front, and we can do that, might make it easier.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, do you comply with all the standard IRS regulations as far as issuing the year-end tax forms? And how do you accommodate for those with a $6,500 traditional or Roth traditional or contribution limit?
Yes, absolutely. So you can't open an account with a contribution. So your annual contributions, what we do is we legacy in clients so that if they are doing a contribution for their annual fiscal 6,500 or 5,500, then we're able to waive the minimum because you're already an existing client and we want to see you continue to build your retirement. As far as the annual reporting, Kingdom Trust holds its trust from South Dakota, so it's approved by the IRS to be a self-directed IRA custodian. And we stay compliant with all necessary regulations for holding of those assets and then year-end reporting.
All right. Does that answer everybody's questions for these folks? Well, we really appreciate your time, guys. Thank you very much for filling us in and for joining us here at Southwest Florida Bitcoiners. And we're really, really happy that you joined us today. And we're going to record this so our folks can watch it over and over.
Oh, great. Well, thank you guys, and keep up the good work of just the knowledge base of Bitcoin out there. It's exciting to see people throughout the country. These groups are growing. There was one time when it was just a few guys in a basement. Now it looks like you guys have almost a full-size company there today, which is great. So we're happy. Anytime you have questions, you can reach out to us. I'm sure that you'll distribute our contact information as well.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.